Meanwhile, SANCO in KZN is calling for President Cyril Ramaphosa to use his authority to instruct the SIU to launch a probe into the allegations. Ramaphosa is set to address the nation tomorrow on the developments. I'm joined now by National spokesperson Mzukisi Jam. Mzukisi, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Well, it's been a very long week with a lot packed into it following that explosive media briefing last week Sunday by the police commissioner in KZN. Different political parties and organizations going for different arms of state, considering that there's now an investigation by the public protector. Of course, there have been complaints laid at the police stations as well, different charges laid. And as SANCO, you're calling for an SIU probe into this matter. Tell us why you think this is the right way of going about this.
Thank you so much for having us, and greetings to the viewers at home. I'm not sure if this is the moment now where we say as SANCO, but we told you so. It is heartbreaking, honestly, to realize that one of the major contributory factors to lawlessness and the rate of crime in our country is the involvement of senior police officials, as we have seen, many of them being arrested. And now what is more heartbreaking is actually hearing that there are even leaders that we trust who are also implicated in these corruption scandals. The rot within the SAPS does not only threaten the safety of the South African citizens, but it also talks to the safety and the sovereignty of this country. So it's not something really that we should be taking for granted. It is for those reasons that as SANCO, we are calling for the president to really establish as quick as possible a commission of inquiry which must probe and get into the bottom of the rot within the SAPS. And I think it's also important to highlight that people must not act so surprised. We have been saying this thing as SANCO for the longest of time, that the rot within the SAPS is deepening. The rot within the SAPS dates from way back since the times of Jackie Selebi as the National Commissioner of SAPS. So the problem here is that we have been watching, and the rot has been deepening and deepening. And on the sidelines as SANCO, we've been calling for the intervention of the president. So it's high time that the president stood up and actually tried to uproot the rot within the SAPS, because it's honestly, threatening the sovereignty of this country.
And, you also mentioned, perhaps a commission of inquiry, and there's been quite a bit of criticism when it comes to commissions of inquiry, because we've seen them in the past, very costly as well, but don't see much tangible action that happens afterwards, that those recommendations are not always implemented as well. Considering the weight of these allegations as well, do you think that a commission of inquiry is sufficient? Don't you think it's actually, at this point, we need more than a commission of inquiry?
We do need a commission of inquiry, but while establishing a commission of inquiry, I think it is advisable that the culprits are put aside, so that we then put in place people with a little bit of credibility who would actually respect what SAPS stands for. So we do believe that the commission of inquiry would get to the very bottom of what exactly is the rot within the SAPS, because if you investigate superficially, or you only investigate the allegations which have been brought to the fore, you will be leaving behind the rot which has been there for decades. Because for as long as we don't get to the bottom of the rot which has been haunting the institution for decades, we would be as good as not doing anything. So it is for those reasons that we firmly believe that perhaps a commission of inquiry should be established, an independent one for that matter, and which will actually get to the bottom of what has been the problem within the SAPS. At this stage, we are wondering as to who exactly should be innocent within SAPS, because to us, they don't look innocent like all of them. They don't look innocent at all. We've been talking about these things because their conduct has been questionable. We had marches We have done everything. So perhaps we were waiting for these. They were waiting for this to actually happen for them to take us seriously. So we really want to. We really would like a situation where we get to the bottom of the rot within SAPS, and it has to be uprooted from the bottom.
And
Hence, I'm saying it dates back from the times of Jackie Selebi, and nothing was done in order to make sure that there was nothing left of such.
I mean, we also think about the State Capture Commission of Inquiry as well. Very little has come out of that. We got to the bottom of it. We heard a lot of startling allegations, startling evidence pieces as well. But here we sit years later, no one really, the head honcho is arrested. So again, just to ask, do you truly believe that in this separate independent commission of inquiry that it would yield different results and that finally this time recommendations would be implemented?
We really would like to give the president of this country, the benefit of the doubt, because he's at the forefront in terms of making sure that all these recommendations are implemented. We are of a very strong view that perhaps this time they will act differently, considering that they have seen the anger from the people of this country. So we would like to give the president really that last benefit of the doubt to say they must do the right thing. Because then the implementation of even the previous commission of inquiries which were established goes back to the very same leadership of the ANC, which even in this current situation is not left out. But we are counting on the president to do the right thing which is in the best interest of the people of this country at this stage.
And finally, before I let you go, you said something interesting as we opened this interview. You said, look, as SANCO, we told you so. The writings have been on the wall. We've been talking about this for a very long time. We've had citizens who've marched about this. What do you make of the president's reaction to all of this? Yes, tomorrow we do have what we know now as a family meeting tomorrow evening. This is exactly a week after these very serious revelations were revealed. But also, just yesterday, there was the eminent persons gathering at the union buildings, and it almost seemed like business as usual, considering what is going on now with these revelations. Do you truly think and have confidence that the president is taking this matter as a matter of actual urgency and seriousness?
We have had bilaterals with the president. So we are really hopeful that at this stage he will act differently, because honestly, the safety and the sovereignty of this country is at stake. So we don't think he would really take us for granted, or he would really stoop that low and actually ignore everything that is currently happening. We are really counting on him. However, if nothing happens that really would make sense in terms of dealing with the rot within SAPS, it leaves us with no other alternatives as communities but then to take it to our own hands and actually do what we do best, because we are not going to allow a situation where honestly we continue as if it's business as usual and nothing is wrong. You have seen the rate of crime is skyrocketing within this country. So one of the major contributory factors to that is obviously what is currently happening within the institution, which is SAPS. And we would be letting the millions of the citizens down if we would then allow the president not to do anything, and we also do not do anything. But at this stage, we are not going to really disclose as to what exactly are we going to do if the president fails. But we do have a second option as to what exactly should be done if the president does not do what is in the best interest of the citizens of this country.
Very interesting indeed. Mzukisi Jam, thank you so much for your time. That was the SANCO spokesperson, Mzukisi Jam.